What's happening? Welcome to episode 2 of the Slayin Cajun podcast. I'm back here with Slayin Steven.
What's up, yo?
And this time, we're talking movies.
Specifically Disney, since recently a lot has happened in the Disney world. Not Disney World. Well, stuff is happening at Disney World. We're talking we're going to focus a little bit at the beginning here about the Disney-Fox merger, most specifically what that could mean and what it. I would like to first talk about, because I know you're going to probably want to talk a lot about the superheroes.
Yeah.
What I want to talk about is what it's going to mean, essentially, for Disney's Netflix competition that's supposed to be coming out sometime next year, I think. I think they said early spring. And, like, right before it goes live, all the Disney, Marvel, Star Wars movies are going off of Netflix, which is a big portion of Netflix's library.
What the hell?
You did not know that?
I love Daredevil.
No, that's still going to be there.
Okay, good.
It's because that's Netflix Studios in association with Marvel Studios.
Well, here's the thing though. That's going to take out. They just got The Last Jedi on there. I think.
And I think they're going to have Infinity War 2 for like 2 months.
That's going to mess a lot of people up. And for starters, y'all probably noticing now, we're going to be on Spotify and iTunes with the new podcast setups.
Yep, as soon as we can get it all the hosting situated.
That's what I've been working on. That's why we haven't recorded in a while. And plus, we're both college students.
And I've actually been out of town. And now I'm back. And so now we got some stuff I want to talk about. So I think, number one, the Disney-Fox merger, I think the number one reason why it happened was to essentially double the library.
I can see that, but I can also see them trying to do it to get secure the rest of the Marvel assets.
I think that was definitely part of it, and someone like Kevin Feige was like, hey, Fantastic Four, hey, come on. But I think from the executive standpoint, while the movies are going to make them a lot of money, the Marvel movies are going to make them a lot of money. I think where they see the long-term money coming from is the streaming service.
Right.
You know, because that's going to be around for a while. It's a new section of the company, like buying Pixar.
Right.
They bought another movie studio, like when they bought Pixar.
And that's going to bring, like you said, a lot of revenue for them. And also, having more revenue means more editing time. Because I'm big into editing, guys. It's going to bring in more editors who can do fantastic work. More specifically, we're going to...
If anything, what usually happens is they're going to... Like, the Fox Studios is going to downsize. Because Marvel already has... Or not Marvel. Well, Disney already has a lot of these positions, like directors and stuff, sorted out.
It's probably going to save a few of the Fox Marvel movies. Called Fantastic Four.
I mean, Disney say Spider-Man.
Yes.
But what I'm really...
I
think one of the main reasons why they did it is... And we'll get to the superhero stuff in a moment. But I just want to say, like, when it comes to the library... Because that's really, like, they're trying to build up this streaming service. And now they've got a bunch more television shows... They've got Simpsons, Family Guy. They don't have American Dad because that's on TBS right now.
That's going to be interesting, to say the least, because Disney is family friendly.
Disney director or Disney CEO, I think it was the CEO, Bob Iger, has already said, they're going to find a way to keep making Deadpool R-rated because he doesn't think that they could do the movie not R-rated. They're probably going to do it with the Marvel logo on it, but not the Disney logo. Like, There used to be a studio called Miramax, which was owned by Disney, and it did the Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back film.
Really?
Yeah, that's why, like, at the end of the movie, they were going to Miramax because they were making a movie about them or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Without their permission. It was based on their characters, and like, hey, we deserve some of that money. That was owned by Disney, I'm pretty sure. Like, they can do workarounds. They just slap another studio name on it.
Right. And see, that's something I look forward to. So basically, it's them competing with Netflix in a sense. That's going to bring in some really good things because there's some old school movies that you cannot find on Netflix. Like, one of my favorites was the original Monsters Inc. I can't find that on Netflix.
The original what?
Monsters Inc.
Monsters Inc., yeah. Disney with its movies likes to roll them out periodically. That's why they've got the Disney Vault.
Yeah. And there's some different movies that we can see brought back and put into this library is the way you're putting it. And that's going to get some of these old school fans like you and me, who are in our 20s, to get into it.
Old school fans. You know Disney's been around for 40,
longer than both of us have been alive, but...
Yeah. Like, the heyday for Disney was 40 years ago. And then there was the dark times. Then the Renaissance, but... I'll do, Disney stuff, should have done more research about that, because I know all the stuff about it, I just don't know exact dates. But now, I've said my piece about, why I think one of the main biggest reason why they were able to get so many people behind it was the library and for the streaming service. Now let's talk about what you wanted to talk about, what this means for the MCU.
Right. I'm big in the comics. Several friends of mine are, and a lot of them are hopeful for some movies to get a reboot that's good. Everybody hated the original Ghost Rider movies. They gave it a lot of flack, and it was under the Fox.
Yep.
Marvel. We might see a reboot of that maybe in the future, but
I think it won't be for a couple of years because we just saw the second Ghost Rider one 3 years ago. I think it won't at earliest it'll be another 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, but that shows that they have the opportunity to change the game for some of these heroes that need a reboot. The Fantastic Four is a prime example. Those series of movies have not done well. And this could be an opportunity for them to bring that franchise back. And they played a part in the comics.
Well, I wonder, what do you think it means for the very successful reboot, the very successful reboots of the X-Men that started with Days of Future Past? It's been very successful in fixing a lot of the problems with X3.
It has, and it has my curiosity. I don't have a definitive answer right now.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to do that.
My hope would be they would keep going with how they have it with Days of Future Past and continuing with Logan.
Well,
and I know Logan's based future.
The thing is, I don't know if we're gonna, because Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart said the only way they'd come back to their characters if Disney got the rights to the X-Men. And they didn't expect Disney to buy Fox. They expected Disney to buy the rights back. So I wonder,
go big or go home. I guess
if they were just joking, were Jackman and Sir Patrick Stewart. But
Jackman's what, 40, 50?
It's late 40s. He's old.
But that shows that...
Do the beast, though, in the weight room.
Yeah. But that shows, different franchises from the Fox MCU could be revitalized and reused and put in correctly. Because some of them that Fox had played a big part in the Infinity War comics.
Yep. I mean, I just don't know. Because I know we're going to... Because Infinity War is done. They've shot and edited both parts together. We're not going to see any changes. At least, I don't think they might do what they did with Spider-Man. We'll see Professor X or Daredevil or Deadpool or something for a couple minutes. But I don't think we are, because this storyline is because really, this is the completion of the 10-year arc that has been building up.
Off Robert Downey Jr.
And I think they're going to start, because they do,
it's clear as day that the original 6 are going to be leaving after this next movie. It's clear as day.
I don't think Robert Downey Jr. is, because he signed on for another contract.
Really? I know Chris Evans.
Chris Evans said he was done. He's been doing a movie, from what I understand, because the contracts are Disney likes to keep under wraps. From what I understand, he's been doing a movie-to-movie deal since Captain America, I think, was the end of his long contract.
Yeah, but also here's someone that announced he wanted to stop making movies for a while. Chris Hemsworth. He wants to stop making movies for a while and focus on spending time with his family.
Which I think they can do easily, because in all honesty, I think from what I read about it, he'll keep doing movies during that time, but he's not going to be doing the 3 to 4 movies a year like he's been doing.
Right.
I think he'll probably keep doing Thor because he loves that role and it's super fun for him. But I think, again, we're only going to see him... Like, because think about it, we had 2 Thor movies, and we saw him in both the Avengers before Infinity War.
Right.
Thor is not a demanding role for him.
Right. It's just show up, talk weird.
Well, it's just that they don't... Like, they use him enough, and they use him a lot. But
they get him love.
Well, the thing is there's so many other characters, they don't have to churn out Thor in every movie. Right. They don't have to churn out Iron Man in every movie.
Like, we all know, if you've read the comics, you know how Infinity War Part 2 is going to play a big factor in bringing some of the characters back. Can we go into spoilers, or...
Infinity War Part 2? How can we spoil it?
Part 1 and our theories for that.
I think so, because it's been 3 months.
Well, for those of you who don't know, all the people who turned into Ad...
Spoiler warning! If it wasn't clear enough.
Those who turned into basically Ash at the end of the movie are not dead. They were in the Soul Gem, which is...
We believe. Well, that hasn't been confirmed by anyone.
In theory, that's what it was in the comics. That's where all of them were.
Yeah, but comics aren't movies.
Yeah, but I wonder, that's my curiosity, if are they going to base that part off the comic?
Well, I think definitely those guys are coming back because they've already Disney confirmed Spider-Man 2 and
yeah, because
oh shoot, what's his name? Tom Holland confirmed Spider-Man 3. So the ones who are gone are the ones, like, because Captain America didn't go, and for example, Sebastian Stan still has several more movies under his contract.
He's one of my favorite. His character, the way he does Winter Soldier, is fantastic.
So they're coming back. I don't know how they're gonna pull it off, but I think that Disney will find a way.
And a lot of people, and I saw this on the internet when I was goofing off earlier playing some Overwatch on my new laptop. But a lot of people are theorizing. In the comments, it was Nebula, and I can't think of the male hero's name. You're going to have to excuse me on that.
Adam?
I think so. Removed the gauntlet off of Thanos. A lot of people are speculating it's going to be Captain Marvel doing it this time.
Yeah, probably. They're building her up pretty strong with that post-credit scene, and she's definitely going... Like, I think she's seen by Disney as a feminist icon or a women's rights icon, which, you know, I think, you know, that's it's important for representation, you know? I think that's doing it right. Yeah. Writing a character, like, to get off on a tangent, why I think so many people didn't like Ghostbusters is because, like, the Ghostbusters 2016, was it?
Yes.
Why so many people didn't like Ghostbusters? It. I didn't think it was that funny. And here's the problem I had with Ghostbusters 2016. It's the same problem I have with Ghostbusters 2. And that is that it's Ghostbusters 1 all over again. It's the same film. Just when you break down the plot, because I forget what it's called. I think it's called a log line. And it's when you break down a film plot into one sentence with 3 parts. If it's the same exact log line, except you say, which it is for the first and second one, and the 2016 version, it's the same log line with a different pronoun, then it's
just a rewrite.
It could have been better. That's my biggest problem with it, is it could have been better. There were so many young girls who loved that movie, and it was great for them. But here's my biggest problem with that movie.
Hit me.
When I'm older now, I watched Ghostbusters, the first one, when I was like 10, 11, 12, which I probably should have now looking back at how many swears there were, but I look back at that movie now, and the first one is still as good. It gets better with every watching. But I think when these 10, 11, 12-year-old little girls grow up and look back on one of their favorite movies and watch it again, they're going to realize it's bad. And I think that is the biggest sin of the movie. It's not that some of the jokes fall flat. It's not that some of the special effects are worse than Ghostbusters 2 from 20 years ago. Yeah. It's not going to be the waste of Bill Murray as he is in that film. I think it's simply going to be that it doesn't stand up. It was done to do a gender swap movie.
I'm going to ask you a question. Do you feel like it was rushed?
I don't feel like it was rushed. I don't think it was necessarily rushed. I just don't think enough effort was put into it by the studio. I think the actors did an okay job. For example, I've never been a huge fan of, I forget her name. Not Melissa McCarthy. Well, I'm not a huge fan of Melissa McCarthy, but I like her work. But the black girl from SNL who was in it. What's her name? I can't think of her name. Leslie Jones. I like Leslie Jones, but I'm not a huge fan of her humor. You know, I'm not a huge fan of like the yelling and like that kind of thing. It doesn't quite like.
My favorite joke came from her character. I think her character's name was Patty.
I think so.
She said the power of Patty compels you.
Yeah, that was funny. Favorite joke that was funny. I think the movie definitely has its moments, and I know it's not a Disney movie and we're kind of off topic, but
it's a tangent.
We're gonna circle it. I'm gonna circle it back here in a second, okay? So where that movie failed, I think capped at being a movie for young women to dress up for it, a Halloween, and buy the merchandise and be essentially their foothold in what is the male-dominated sci-fi action genre.
Right.
What's going to be their foothold? What Ghostbusters 2016 failed at, I think Captain Marvel is going to succeed at. And I know we're two middle-aged or two 20-year-old college-aged white guys talking about a very important feminist issue, but that is my personal feelings as a movie critic, as a historian / anthropologist, is I think where, from a cultural standpoint, where Ghostbusters 2016 fails, I think Captain Marvel is going to succeed and more, because I think Disney is not only going to put the effort behind it, they can put the money behind it, and the money was clearly put behind the first one. Like, it had a huge budget that I think it wasn't going to overtake. There was no way they were going to blow past their budget to, like, demand a sequel, because of how much money they put behind it and the backlash it had before it was even made. And because there were a lot of people who were like, you're ruining my childhood. No, it had support from Bill Murray. Okay, right. I think it could have been good. I just don't think it was. I didn't think it ruined my childhood. I can still go back and watch the first Ghostbusters. Right. That doesn't affect... I mean, hell, there's already been female Ghostbusters in The Real Ghostbusters, which was the animated TV show that was running, I think, in like the 5 years between the first and the second movie coming out.
Right. And that's like you were saying with Captain Marvel. She is a icon with female heroes. Like you said. And I honestly, not only do I think she's going to be a good saving grace for inspiring young women, like you said, we're about 20-year-old white men, for young women to be inspired by her, but another comic book brand has done this before. But I don't think Disney is trying to latch onto that. That was Wonder Woman. They both are icons of inspiring women to stand up for themselves and be their own people.
Exactly.
So hats off to DC and Marvel for wanting to do this.
Definitely. I think where... I love Wonder Woman, don't get me wrong. In all honesty, it's the only good movie, in my opinion, in the DC universe. And I don't say that as someone... I'm not like a Marvel fanboy, even though we're talking about Marvel and Disney. I love Superman. One of my favorite story arcs is the Darkest Night story arc. Right? With Green Lantern, which I don't remember. Is that even canonical when it came out? I don't think it was.
Darkest Night was when they revealed every one of the Green Lantern Corps, right?
Well, yeah, with all the the dead coming back to life.
They canonized it, and then they did the New 52 thing.
Okay, so they canonized it right before the end.
Yeah.
Of the canon. That's kind of funny. But I love it. But I think here's the biggest problem with... I think someone posted this on Twitter, and I saw it shared on Facebook when the Titans trailer came out. And we're going to keep this clean, but when Robin said Batman, someone tweeted out, I love how this trailer came out on the 10th anniversary of The Dark Knight and showed the wrong lessons learned from that movie.
Right, and they're not wrong.
DC movies don't have to be edgy. Those lessons learned from that movie were wrong.
And I'm big into keeping correct with the continuity, if you can't tell from me talking about the comics. That's supposed to be Dick Grayson.
Yeah.
He did not disrespect Batman. He respected the guy, but he was tired of being in his shadow. That's the thing. He never said, forget Batman. He would, if Dick needed to, he would, sorry guys, he would go to Bruce for advice for what's going on in Bloodhaven. The only Robin that would be like, well, there's only two Robins who would have been like that. One of them's dead in the comics right now, and that's Damian Wayne.
He's still dead? I thought he came back.
I can't remember.
Alright, go ahead.
And Jason Todd. Those are the only two Robins that would have done that. And so far, the only one of those two that's had a run with the Titans was Damian.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think, and we're going to bring it back to the movies and bring it back to Marvel. I think because the dark Marvel movies, I think the biggest problem with DC is...
They try to stay on that
they try and do dark, and then one time they try to do the seriousness and humor like Guardians of the Galaxy, which hits you right in the feels in the first 5 minutes, but you still walk out of the film laughing. With Suicide Squad, that movie had potential, but it was ruined by editing, and like they shot some scenes 3 or 4 different ways. I found it weird how some of the characters were introduced like twice, like we had never seen them before.
Right.
Like was introduced to the Orange twice. It's because they shot 2 different introduction scenes, so the director can be like, "I like this one better. We're gonna run with this one." But then they switched editing companies, and the editing companies put in both, and it made no sense that these characters were introduced twice.
This is just my tangent, little quick note. I cannot stand the Jared Leto Joker. That's my opinions. I don't think he played it that well.
But bringing it back to Disney and Marvel,
I think them acquiring the Fox asset and doing the downsizing is going to bring some of the Fox editors who have phenomenal potential to a brand that supports its editors, from what I've seen.
Yeah, I think, and another thing. Now, like to get off of the superheroes, because we were on there for about 10 minutes, and we're getting towards the end of the podcast. I want to talk about what that means for the theme parks, because I am a huge Disney nerd. You know,
I've never been to Disney World or Disneyland.
I've been to. I was. You want to know how much of a fan I was? I was in Disneyland the day of its 60th anniversary, because they do it for a full year. The anniversary, it was like diamonds fake diamonds everywhere, like 60 everywhere for the 60th anniversary, because 60th anniversary is the diamond anniversary. I was there on 60 years to the day that Walt opened that park.
Nice. And like I said, never been.
So
I gotta go eventually.
So basically what this is going to mean is we're going to be talking about some stuff. And then, like, what's going to happen, and you can give your opinions on how cool you think that is.
I've seen some of the things in the park.
Well, for example, the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror is still in Disney World in Florida, but in California, where it was a Californian Adventure, they changed it to Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. And on the day it opened, during the ceremony, there were, like, at night, when it got dark, there were, like, SHIELD agents in, like, hazmat suits and that kind of stuff, looking like there's going to be... And the area behind that right now is just parking for cast and storage. And so the big rumor right now is they're going to expand behind that as part of California Adventure to be a Marvel section of that park, which I think is going to be super cool. And one of the cool things that they can do in their theme park division with what they got from Fox. Right. They've got the Fantastic Four. They can do a Fantastic Four ride there.
They can do an XMen ride going through the manor.
Yeah, they can do those kind of things if they have those rights.
I just thought about something.
What's that?
I got a question for you. You've been to both parks, correct?
Literally dozens of times. That's the place we go vacation. That's the only place we go.
We talked about some of the things that Fox owns, Family Guy.
Yeah,
Simpsons.
I don't... Well...
I'm not talking about Family Guy. Do you think they're going to put a Simpsons?
No, they're not, because Universal has the theme park rights.
Forgot about that.
They've got the theme park rights. So we're never going to see that. And I think that's fine, because it's such a different feel.
Unless Disney goes, what? Why don't we just buy Universal?
They would have. The thing is Disney doesn't want to end Universal. Like,
it's good competition.
So I went to Wizarding World of Harry Potter like a month after it opened in Florida.
Really? And
we were talking to one of the employees who actually used to work at Disney, and she was telling me with all the money they spent building and setting up the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Universal, the entire company, almost went bankrupt with all the research and the money, and because they made huge feats in engineering, like theme park building, theme park theming, and stuff like that. That kind of research and testing before implementation takes a lot of money.
Right. And see, that's where we're both being into working and designing.
Yeah, I mean, and what that led to is...
an iconic ride.
Well, what it led to was Disney buying Marvel from Universal, because the first... I think Iron Man was made by Universal.
I think
so. I might be wrong. But Disney... Yeah, like Disney bought the Marvel Studios from Universal to keep Universal aloft. Because when we were talking with her, she was telling me because like the season, which is where Disney makes its big bucks, is like October through January for like the winter season, and then the summer season starts at the end of May till the beginning of August. That's what makes the big bucks. But the rest of the year, how are they going to... It's like a restaurant that only has people ever in there at lunch and dinner. They're not going to be able to stay aloft. Disney probably could with how much money they make in the season, but they wouldn't be able to do all the things they want to do in the parks.
Right.
And she was telling us what really keeps them what keeps those both parks, Universal and Disney, thriving in the off seasons is the locals. What they'll do is, because everyone has a local season pass because those are cheap. Yeah. Comparatively to a regular season pass, which means it's a full year. There are blackout dates if you're a Central Californian season pass holder or Central Floridian season pass holder, because they really want you to go during the off-season days. And what they do is the families in the area, they'll buy, say they're a 4-person family with a teenager, mom, dad, and a young child, right? The teenager gets a pass. Usually the whole family has passes to both. But the teenager spends his afternoons and his weekends during the off-season in August, like during school year, at Universal, while the rest of the family spends their time taking the little child to Disney. And that helps keep each other alive, because they're not going to... Because the whole family isn't going to go spend their money at Disney and with the teenager not wanting to go, because it's not fair to that child.
Right.
And so by having a place, essentially a daycare, for lack of a better term, to send him and give him an option helps both parks. And Disney recognizes the importance of competition, because everyone's like, Disney's trying to buy out everyone. But then they bought Marvel to keep their competition alive.
And this comes down to that. I'm studying American history too. They had to buy certain companies, but they would keep some companies working together, friendly competition. And it comes down to a quote from Abraham Lincoln: "A house divided against itself cannot stand." They are both phenomenal movie industries. If they can't coincide sometimes, the whole movie industry could flop. Truthfully.
Really. And I definitely think it's important to have alternatives. Because while Disney parks are definitely much more kid-friendly and family-friendly, Universal has more thrill rides. They have more thrill rides.
They do Jurassic Park, right?
Yes, they've got the Jurassic
Park, Harry Potter, stuff like that.
It's actually, I think a Jurassic World remake has been like remodeling and changing all the park stuff to Jurassic World stuff has been confirmed in the park in California, but not Florida. It's only been confirmed for one of them. But the rumor is it's going to happen at all the Jurassic Park rides at all the Universals across the world because of Michael Crichton's family. Even though Michael Crichton was all for it, they wanted like a lot more money to keep using the Jurassic Park name in the theme parks. So they're going to just rebrand it to the new park, Jurassic World.
Right.
That's a rumor. It hasn't been confirmed. I don't want to speak ill of his family if it's not true, so take that with a huge grain of salt. But that's just what all the rumors are saying. Another thing that I think is really cool for what it could mean for the parks
see a lot of revamps with
Disney has what's known as Disney's Hollywood Studios right now. It used to be called MGM Studios it was a group deal with them, so they could call it MGM Studios, and they had MGM movies everywhere, like referenced. But then that partnership ended, and it's just been Disney It's been Disney's Hollywood Studios in Florida. Right. Like it's kind of like what they did wrong with Californian Adventure, which why would I want to see a fake Golden Gate Bridge? The real one's an hour that way. Right. That's why it was such a flop in the theme park world. It's seen as such a bad idea, even though I love some of the rides there, but it really doesn't make any sense. But where that doesn't make sense, Hollywood Studios in Florida makes a ton of sense because it's on the other side of the country.
Right.
I mean, if they did if they did some sort of like East Coast adventure instead of like California adventure, I think that would have made a lot more sense. Yeah. But now with all this Fox properties, there were rumors that they were going to change the Disney's Hollywood Studios away from being like Hollywood themed and more like just random movies and like because right now you go in
working though maybe do a different movie every 2-3 months.
Well, no. Well, when I say like the theming, this stuff is permanent. Like you can't like replace Cinderella Castle with Aurora Castle. But what it is like you go to the Star Tours ride. Outside of the Star Tours ride, which is like a Star Wars ride. There's like Ewok Village, but like you look up like where like the camera would stop, and you could see like scaffolding where it's clearly a movie set. Like there were definitely you can tell it's a movie set. So it kind of like because where at all the other parks they work hard to where you can't like to like blend it in together to make it seem like it's real.
Let's show them the reality.
Well, like you're in a real world. They don't want you to make it feel like you're in a theme park. They want it to feel like you're in a movie studio. And then you step into the movie and you step out. Like the gift shops have boxes that say Star Tours set. Then right. It's it's a production.
Right.
And I think the acquisition of Fox allows them to keep doing that. Even though with the new section... Toy Story Land, which I was there for opening day, and for the soft opening the day before, and it was so cool. It seems like and with all of what's coming out about Star Wars Land, it looks like they're coming away from that, like that kind of movie set feel, and making it more immersive like the other parks. I think with the Fox deal, they now have the option to keep those lands immersive, but still keep the other lands as a movie set.
Right, because that's what they're kind of known for, correct?
That park's known for. The other parks, they're really known... What Disney really has... Universal has the thrills over Disney.
Right.
What Disney has over Universal is the theming.
Right.
And I think that's really where they have a huge advantage.
Right. Alright, guys. So we're going to wrap it up right here. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, because we're going to be posting this on YouTube. But don't forget to follow us on Spotify.
Once we get that sorted out.
Yeah.
Be sure to follow me on my YouTube channel, Slayin Steven, SLYN STEVEN. Just search for that. You should find it. I'm about to start, because our last episode was about Overwatch, and we had a lot of fun about that. So I'm actually wanting to start a news roundup with Joseph here, where we're going to be talking about Overwatch news, themes, and then if there's no huge news, we're just going to talk about things like
updates,
strategies, like things we like, just like random little bits and pieces of Overwatch.
Right. And if you're watching this from his YouTube channel, because I think
we're uploading this to your channel.
Oh yeah. Don't forget to subscribe to the Cajun Entertainment. If you're listening to this on Spotify, it's CAJUN Entertainment.
Alright, well thank y'all for joining us. I have been Slayin Steven.
This has been Cajun American.
Your host.
And we're done.